Is there additional comment on this resolution? Additional comment on this resolution? Senator Winfield.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I rise in opposition to this resolution. I want to start broadly and then focus directly in on Judge Adelman. The other day in Judiciary, when we were hearing judges, both Wednesday and Friday of last week, as per usual, there were some concern with some of the judges. Judge Adelman was one of them, and I had the opportunity to speak with Judge Adelman, and over the long weekend had the opportunity to go back and review what Judge Adelman said, and as he suggested to me, go through the testimony that was provided and the transcripts. I suggested that the hardest thing that we do, or at least that I do on a Judiciary Committee, despite all of the controversial things that we do, is to take a vote on judges, because I am often in a position where I'm not sure that I'm voting yes because that judge belongs back on the bench, but I'm voting yes because I'm not sure that I've nailed down the fact that the judge does not belong on a bench, and I'm, I guess, loath to be part of ending someone's career potentially because I'm not sure. This past weekend, Mr. President, was Martin Luther King's holiday and his birthday. A lot of us were talking about justice. And it's interesting that we were talking about justice because while it wasn't Judge Adelman, a lot of judges come before us, and the conversation about justice was had with a judge who doesn't actually appear anymore on a slate of judges. And I think when the people who've come before us to testify against some of these judges, what they're looking for is justice in the court. And what they often find is procedure in the court, and the two don't always line up. And so in the conversation I was having with Judge Adelman, I think we had a little bit of that conversation. It was about decorum, but it was really about procedure, and how that procedure sometimes, I think, precludes us being as aware as we should be that people aren't experiencing justice. So I think what happens is it appears at times to people that we're more concerned with making sure that the machine continues to operate as it has been operating. And some of these people have come in a way to throw their body against the machine, and what happens is they get chewed up. I think that some of these people have come to say to us that something is not right. And so with Judge Adelman, there was a conversation about why do these people come in front of us to tell us what they've told us. And Judge Adelman suggested in response to Chairman Tong that some of these people who have never been in his court come before us for some reason he doesn't know. That's possible. But I went back and I looked at the testimony, and I think of myself as a detail-oriented person. And I recognized that Judge Adelman named off a couple of people in response to Representative Tong. And one of those people, perhaps they didn't appear in his court, but there was an ex parte order that Judge Adelman signed. And so there is an exchange between Judge Adelman and this person. But if you're on a Judiciary Committee and you're hearing this, what you hear is, there's no reason why this person might have issue with me. Now, that might not be a lie, an untruth, but it also isn't the truth. And it was interesting to me that a judge who seemed particularly interested with decorum, because he told me in exchange he had with me that one of the things that told him whether or not people were going to be able to follow the orders of the court was the way they operated in the court. So he was concerned with how people operate. A judge who's concerned with the way that people operated in a way that he raised his hand, he took an oath, and then he wasn't transparent. That should be problematic to all of the members of this body. I don't want to ever be in a situation where I'm voting against a judge. I would love to believe that they all come to us and they all belong back on that bench. But I cannot say today that I feel as though Judge Adelman belongs back on that bench. And I think the people of the state look at us and wonder, I remember when I was in House, there often was this conversation about what do people see when they see us in the General Assembly? And what do they walk away with? And when it comes to this process, we hear, thank you very much, Judge, for coming before us today. Congratulations on your reappointment. They haven't been reappointed, they've been renominated. And when we use certain words, when we operate in certain ways, it is hard for the people of this state to believe in justice. And I know, listen, I understand that we're talking about people who have the funds to be able to, even if they're pro se, they have the funds to be able to be pro se. Not everybody could even do that. But I come from a class of people who haven't always gotten justice in our justice system. And when we said we weren't getting justice, people looked at us and said, oh, you guys, you're just always fighting. You're always doing these things. And, it's a system that works for me. Well, it hasn't worked for us. And it's not exactly the same situation. But I can understand why people's individual circumstance becomes their cause, which some of these judges told us was the problem. The problem is that they're not getting justice. And if I can be a part of trying to get to justice, if I can be a part of doing something better for the people of the state, then that's where I want to stand. And so I rise in opposition to Judge Adelman today.
Thank you, Senator Winfield. Is there additional comment